Okay. Hi,
Hi, Saralise. It's been a while, honey. I love you.
Laurel. I love
Blessing.
you too.
Yay.
So, hi everybody. We are here. This is a powwow meow meow with Laurel Kitten and Saralise, Sophia. We are here to talk about the current stage of events, the current world events that are happening right now on the planet. And I just want to start out with saying thank you for being here. And thank you for witnessing us in our process and our journey with this. I think we're all going through whatever levels of emotions and waves of information that are coming in at all times. And I think it's really important that we have conversations with each other. And that is why we're doing this. So without further ado, I want to bring it to Laurel.
Meow.
Laurel. And I want you to start off the conversation about what we were just talking about. I'm going to let you lead into it and then we'll just have our conversation.
Perfect.
Oh, and the date today is, very important, is July 12th, Sunday, July 12th. What day is it?
I feel that, right?
I think it's Sunday, July 12th.
12th. It is the 12th.
Yeah, 10:10. Okay.
11.
Right? Exactly. So here we are in the gateway.
Okay. Ta-da. Hello, family. Nice to be together. So the inspiration for this conversation was just to have a check-in with how the current affairs are impacting us. And what's been arising for myself and for Saralise during this gateway. We haven't had a check-in for a little while. So we thought we would be generous and open it up to share it so we can all be together.
Yeah.
Thing is, really, this involves all of us, our life. So as I've been contemplating this really powerful moment we're in, and it is so multi-tiered, and there are those of us who are just, I think the contemporary priestess spends her life in relationship to technology, internal and external, to be tracking the different threads and waves that we're all moving through. Because this current modern priestess has got the same thread as the ancient priestess, which is we're the great equalizers and harmonizers of life through our inner alchemy and our wombs of creation.
Yes.
They're one with the womb of creation in the universe, which all things come from. So
and
here
I'm in my moon right now, just FYI, you guys. Just wanted to say that.
So sacred.
We're in the presence of the moon blood right now, and I want to just honor that and respect that, because I think a lot of people don't understand their moon, and they don't understand what the moon blood and the wisdom that comes with the blood mysteries is. And Laurel Kitten here is someone who teaches about that, who shares that information, who has art in relation to that, multi-dimensional art that is profound. And the mother goddess energy, the cosmic mother that lives within each and every one of us, is alive and well in Laurel Kitten. And she and I have had many conversations about this, and we've been friends a very long time. We met at Burning Man in the middle of the night.
2012.
2012, talking about white buffalo, calf woman, and white buffalo. And I was wearing white buffalo hide. And I had just come out of a DNA source code activation ceremony on the playa. And then I met Laurel Kitten, and we went into this deep conversation about the mysteries of the mother and of the mother goddess and the womb, and we just white buffalo just led us on this journey together, and we are here together, and we've been friends now solid for 8 years. So we're like sisters. We've lived together. We've had many experiences together. So I'm just so grateful to be here with you and with the moon blood. And to be, and by the way, I'm in my pausal time becoming a crone. So it's really special that I have my moon blood today. because I haven't had it in a few months. So I'm slowly entering into the wisdom years. Not that I wasn't already wise to begin with, but you know, hey. So anyway, just to say that, like, I am going through the physical process of holding my wisdom and holding my moon blood. So I just had to say that just to make people aware and present to the depths of wisdom that come with this time in your cycle. And this is a perfect time to have a conversation with Laurel Kitten.
Which I'm here cat sitting with one kitty named Button Willow, which we just found out
was my cat's name when I was growing up. Like, really? Right. Button Willow. Like, the chances of another cat being named Button Willow, and for me to have that cat and for her to be with a cat named Button Willow, it's just amazing.
That's meant to be.
Right.
Right.
And I just wanted to say the other thing, but I want you to read your thing that you read to me just the other day. Do you have it handy?
One moment, please. Let's see. I need to make the screen.
Because I would love for you to read that.
Okay, I can do it.
Yeah.
There's been some edits, and I don't have the edits.
So we'll all right.
As is. Wait, what is my website? Beauty Way.
I actually, well, I have it recorded, so I can't really.
Oh, no, I just have to find it here. Yeah. So it's the edits are not in this copy. Let me just. I'm so cute. Oh, as we get older, in our perimenopausal time,
right?
Our eyes get even worse than they do when you get in your 40s, which they kind of
yeah, so we're both in our 50s now, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's right. I'm actually a real adult this year for the first time.
Right?
It takes 50
years.
52 years to get through all the cycles once.
Yes.
Which is why we're not true adults in some indigenous cultures until we're 52.
That's incredible, actually, to hear, because I'm 51. So, like, next year,
baby, you're almost an adult.
I'm almost an adult.
I just crossed the gateway myself.
Oh my God. That's amazing to hear, actually, because I've never actually heard that, but that doesn't surprise me because I haven't studied indigenous culture the way that you have.
Right. This is where, like, a lot of the African cultures and cultures where the grandparents take care of the kids. They raise the kids.
Right.
They go real well together, actually, because the parents are still figuring themselves out.
Right. That's true. In the tribe. It's very true. And I think, you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child and all of those little adages or whatever those are called. I do feel like one of the things that we've lost in this culture is the ability to recognize wisdom, the ability to recognize the elder. Like, it just does not occur to people. They all want to have their say about everything, and they all think that their opinion is the opinion. It comes from a distortion in the negative ego, right? Because people have gotten to this place where they need to defend themselves, defend their right to exist.
Yes, this is tied to the
colonizing altar.
Right, which here, before I read this and just on what you're saying,
yes,
you know, the way I'm filtering life is this is the time of the two roads. The prophecy of the two roads. The oil road and the water road is what I call them.
Right.
The oil road is.
Can you explain that to them?
Yes.
Okay.
So the oil road is our colonizer culture tied to the agenda of the deep state, which is
petrol,
which is a complete reversal code on every aspect of what it means to be human.
Black goo.
And has infiltrated into every sector of our life. It is a death culture, a reversal culture. This is the oil road, I call. There's probably maybe a better word for it, but for me last year.
It's actually a perfect name for it.
Well, that's how it came.
Because when you think about oil, you think about black goo. You think about black, shiny, crude oil substance.
Well, and also this culture is absolutely money, God, literally, God is money. There is no
Right.
God, but it's money.
Yeah.
And so oil has been the primary money. So that's where they've been dwelling. And now it's moving into the whole technology, the AI transhumanism. So the power of the oil is infiltrated in through now these things that are, you know, this new agenda, this AI transhumanism agenda that's taking place. So, which later I would like to get into a little more of some personal story of my process of sniffing, smelling, tasting, seeing how this oil-based road in my own life and community, dealing with someone in that family, literally indoctrinated as a child and caught in the web of that reality that I have dealt with and watched, smelled, tasted, touched, and done all the research to be able to make sense of this paradigm. That when we look at what we're seeing and we're looking at these people we're dealing with from the place of the human heart and the human consciousness, it makes no sense. That culture actually is not functioning. Their value structure is not of the human heart. It is not a life-giving, life-generative, planetary, birthing consciousness. It is actually a reversal code, death cult, literally destroying life, capturing people through
anti-life program,
trauma-based horizontal plane where the spiritual the entities come in and feed and attach in and through the trauma points. So it's a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war that systematically through generations causing traumas in the system so they can come in and access through us. So the water road is the return back to the circle, return back to the women and children at the center of the circle and the men holding the space. It's a return back to original mother law of our planetary cosmic body as our daily life. It's a return back to the rites of passage, honoring the psychological, emotional, biological protocols and what the community's role of support is within being born. First blood, first ejaculation, mentorship to grow ourselves into a beautiful human that has their soul come into their body. The gateway of giving birth to our babies and our projects. The gateway of menopause, kingdom, queendom, holding our power, knowing something about life and offering and giving it to the generations, the youth that are coming up to support that process. And the fifth gate of the dropping our mortal coil, consciously dropping our mortal coil into the other dimensional realm, not only successfully, beautifully, powerfully, with grace and elegance, but our communities holding the remembrance of the invisible. We're holding the remembrance of the ancestral realms, remembering in their own bodies the prayers and the blessings of how to support that being that's dropping their mortal coil and how to nourish and support that connection from the other side, because it's a thoroughfare of library of information, even when our loved ones go over. My dad, I have the most magnificent relationship with my father that I was not able to have when he was in his body. It took him quite a few years to work through his karma from down here. He has actually restored completely into his Lyrian Godhead self.
Beautiful.
Literally.
That's
I'm a life path 11, so the invisible dimensional realms is my superhero power. It's my superpower. The invisible.
Thank you, grandmother.
It's my superpower.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to bring a gateway to bring something spiritually new through. You know, 11s are meant to do that if they survive how hard life is to get to that point. Ugly duckling story is an 11 story. So, okay, so the water road is actually regrounding back into our right brain dreaming embodiment process, our cultural architecture that's of a tribal supportive nature that's working with the earth consciously, with the food, with the elementals, with the cross generations, again, I want to say mentorship because I want to just feels to say mentorship, and us, you know, reinitiating ourselves back into our multidimensional selves. That when we slow down in the water road, when we slow down in our nervous system to the tempo and timing of nature, which is the soul rhythm, the soul tide, then we're in one place, which is really embodied in the heart, where we are in our oracle power, which Saralise in her moon lodge right now is the time where the left brain shuts down. So she's now has full access at a whole other level, which she's already moving into all the time because she's holding her power. And she has full access to all information. And so in some African tribes, it would be our job to ask you questions, because you're having your red-haired baby, which means you're the oracle, and we would give you everything you need to make sure you are taken care of, because you're the great alchemizer and you have full knowledge, wisdom available to you as you drop into your body, which the blood naturally drops us into our body. It turns off our thinking. Our feelings come, you know, really come in, we feel, and then when we drop into these deeper spaces, which the first part of the lodge is, because we're here, is a release. It's like dumping the bucket. It's anything we've dealt with in the last year, I mean the last month, or even the last lifetime that we haven't dealt with, as those hormones release right before the blood. All those things come up onto the altar of Kali to be seen, tasted, smelled, experienced, in order to be released, to make deeper space, to receive the wisdom knowledge of the universe through our internal body awareness, our DNA, our deep root into our planetary body, all of the nature, all of the creatures, all of the cosmos. We have access when we drop in deep and slow in the right environment of full body listening. We receive the wisdom language that life needs us to receive to set the tone for our next month, and the wisdoms to support our family and community for the next month. As certain tribes, indigenous tribes from Turtle Island, if wisdom came from the Moon Lodge, it guided the tribe for the whole next month.
So I want to add to that.
Yes.
So, and sort of interpret that for people who aren't familiar with this languaging, because I feel like that's a key thing here, is that some people may not be familiar with some of the languaging.
Probably not.
Right. So,
and there's transmission, and it's good we're together.
The energetic transmission was beautiful, and I could feel every aspect of that. So thank you so much. Appreciate that so much, sister. And for those of you who are in the masculine form, I also want to speak to the fact that you have your own cycle. So the cycle itself is what's important. So we're talking about like a 28-day to 31, 32-day cycle that happens every month. It's like a spiraling sort of cycle that happens within our bodies. And the more that we tune into that, and the more that we honor that cycle, the more that we are willing to feel what comes up during that time where we're crossing the threshold, right? We're crossing a threshold into this other space that is so important. And we have lost that in our society, especially in America specifically, but I've seen it in other places too. But here, the culture, I hate to use this trigger word, but the cancel culture is literally denying that part of themselves in such a way that it doesn't allow for us to really feel our own sense of ourselves, our own feelings. We don't honor our feelings. We don't listen to our feelings. We don't process our own feelings. That's why everybody's offended right now, because nobody's processing their feelings and honoring their bodily cycles, their system cycles that they have within them innately that move through them every single month. Every single month. It is a natural process that lives within the human form, whether or not you're in a female or male or transgender or hermaphroditic body. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you honor it, right? So the more you begin to feel into that cycle, the more that you pay attention to those inner movements that are so subtle that you might miss them if you're not paying attention, right? We want to be able to really feel the uprising, and sometimes it comes in conjunction with the moon cycles and sometimes it doesn't. So it just depends on the person, but the way that you could start that process is just to really feel into the tides of the water within your body. The tides, the water road, right, is really listening to the blood inside of your body and the way that it moves. And the water road brings you into the new moon, right, where you come into the harvest time, where you go deep into the darkness with the absence of light, and it gives you an opportunity to dive in, like to just, and then at the full moon, you come up and you rise up again, right? You rise up and you're waxing and you're coming to this bright, shiny place. And then you can just release. You can just let go of anything that's not serving you. And then you can come down back into that lower state. So there's this natural rhythm, the sine wave, if you will, even like it's a wave. It's just a wave. And you want to ride that wave. And that wave is actually a wave, but it's also a cycle. It's a circular wave. It's really like a spiral. It's going like this, you know, kind of.
Like how you come out of the birth canal.
Exactly. How you come in the birth canal. So then that brings me to, ooh, hello, I want to talk about this, the birth gate and the death gate and how they're being hijacked. But we're not going to go there right now.
Oh, wait. Okay, but maybe, but hold on. Let me say something.
Yeah.
Because I want to say something that you were just saying.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Dude. Oh my gosh.
We got to have so many conversations about this stuff.
Right.
Like,
Really,
dude, we need to do a series, like for real.
Gosh, look how our bodies responded to that
yeah.
conversation there. It's like,
seriously. Wow.
My bones are just getting wobbly inside. Let's see if I can remember let's see if I could go back to whatever I was going to say.
I know. What were you going to say?
All right, let's see if I can find it. That would be a miracle if I find it. The place where we're not honoring, it has a lot to do with tempo and timing.
Mm-hmm.
In the current culture, first, that's moving very fast.
Right.
It's moving fast, and it's very externally, everything's outside.
Yeah.
All the information's
horizontal
coming,
harvesting.
Technology, everything's out. This particular program that has been set up for thousands, like the last couple thousand years.
Thousands.
Couple thousand, and here we are, right?
Right.
This oil-based consciousness.
It took them that long to implement this program, you guys. You have to think about that too.
This is cross generations. They usually indoctrinate their own children. They usually
absolutely 100%
will kill their first baby, their firstborn. We need to. There is so much information. You have to find it. And I'm sorry. The things I found that actually map it out step by step what that protocol architecture is of that road. I didn't take a screenshot. Why? Because I lived it I was so in awe, like that's it. That I was integrating my knowledge of experientially directly dealing with these patterns and others and in the field that I didn't think to do a screenshot. But you can find it out there. It's a very specific protocol of values, ways of doing things that I really want to.
It's a science.
It's a science.
It's literally a science that they have down to a T, that they've indoctrinated generations with.
Yes, completely.
Generations, you guys.
Yes,
generations.
So the point is that this paradigm It's not coming through the filter of the human heart and the way we
Right.
humans that are connected to the earth think, feel, or can even understand, unless
Because it's outside of the surface level of consciousness. It's coming from the occult. It's coming from the hidden, the subconscious.
Oh, right. Which, okay, so that I have to lead in here. Okay, so if you want to destroy a people, destroy the wisdom lodge.
Right.
Destroy the blood lodge. Destroy the
Right.
women at the center of the circle who are
It's
the
all about the blood, people.
It's all about the blood, and they have harvested our blood, and they have harvested our priestesses. They've harvested our children. They are doing black magic
100%.
completely,
They've harvested the blood of dragons
of everything.
and the magic of the earth. The blood of the earth has been harvested, and it's under lock. It was under lockdown. I'm not going to say that it still is, but it was under lockdown.
It was.
And it has been dismantled,
yes,
piece by
in
piece.
these last years in the interdimensional,
very calculated movements. It has been being dismantled. That's all I'm going to say.
Look, I'm like, now I'm in the prayer, and I'm like, okay, left brain shuts down. What was I saying? I don't know, because Dragon Ma's here going, okay. So, oh, yeah, I remember. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, family of Earth, when the feminine is doing her initiatory work and she is sitting at the center of the circle with her other women who are initiated with the planetary cosmic body and wisdom language of their alignment, which when they are aligned, the Holy Shekinah, the Holy Spirit, when we are aligned and initiated in that alignment, guess what happens? The frickin' Holy Spirit comes in and takes over the oracle, takes over the priestess, and brings a new frequency forth, a dispensation of grace to humanity, and also creates a deep purification of everything that's not that. So when we are sitting correctly in the center of the circle in this way, we have full visionary listening access to the interdimensional invisible realms as the feminine. Our work is invisible work. We are the power. We are the womb of creation.
We are the seat of power.
As the Mother Earth is the womb of creation, who receives our thoughts and feelings and grows it. So the sacredness of the feminine carrying the womb of creation, that this way is a soulful way. It's a way of bringing our soul in. This other way we've been functioning is based on the oil road, where there is no soul, where it's completely externally resourced. It doesn't, I saw it last year. I saw one of these overlording energies that are spiritually harvesting through humans. I actually got to see how bored this being was, how the humans around this being were in a trance state, and this being was using them like puppets, like toys, in this being's boredom, because this being was not accessing the heart bliss, not having access to the heart, and the heart and heart bliss is what brings our soul in, where we get real nourishment, real consciousness. They are not having access to this. So they are externalized, and the addiction well is too much to even look at. And this whole...
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but like...
Serious.
It is so crazy, you guys, to watch this shit go down. Like, when you know what's going on and you like watch this stuff happen, it is mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. I had a call today, Laurel. I just got off a call. Okay? Where a friend of mine who I've known for 20 years, okay, 20 years, said, I got to call Saralise. I got to talk to her about this. Someone in his life who he's family with accused him of basically being a terrorist.
Mind
Like
control,
completely
my
controlled.
entity.
Like, oh my God. But he finally saw it though. And he was able to then bring it to me and say, this is what I saw, Saralise. And I finally got what you were talking about. Oh my God. Right? 100%. I was like, okay, so now you understand what I'm talking about. He's like, I get it now.
Yeah.
He understood the level that it was playing at, and he understood what was going on and all the different levels because of all the conversations that I've had with him over the years.
And
right?
And so I might know something, but until you know it and you speak it out,
right,
that actually completes the circuit. It's so
and
I know it, I don't even think until you say it, and then I'm like, oh, and then something goes, and I go, okay, now click. That's protocol,
right?
Which is why we need tribe and community mentorship,
exactly,
reflection, appropriate physical contact, a place we can commune and pray and do our lives together, and because
that's coming.
Okay,
that is coming.
Okay, back. So the women, I'm switching from where we were because it just popped back.
Go ahead.
The women at the center of the circle, what I learned last year in doing the next level of reseeding the grandmother wisdom at the center. It might not all, it doesn't all happen at once. And if you have 5 or more continuously gathering, Dom and Her gives this information. Consistently, at a certain point, that consciousness will take a life on its own and move everything forward. So last year, because we were so colonized, we had at least 5 or more for a full year cycle, really coming back into that circle at the center. What we discovered is this oracle wisdom, when we are together in our wisdom lodge, we actually smell, taste, track together as we all are catching it. And then when we come together and we share it, we go, oh, I'm not just making that up. And we all listen and we go, oh, right. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Will we have our grandmothers and children show up in this frequency field of the oil and the people I was dealing with? No, we would never do that. So we take it, and then we happen to have one person holding that archetypal role in our circle, who within either her own cognitive dissonance or just hasn't done the initiations yet in her life to be able to see and feel what we're saying, and loves the person and the peoples of this other culture we were dealing with, to say, no, that's not what's happening. No, that's not what's going on. Not at all. But yet we were all there going, this is what's going on. And so
there were plenty of you saying that it was happening. I remember.
Yes. And then because we went through this process and there was this denial, then there were a few of us who went crazy in full-blown research around these people in actual real time, out in the world, with the government, with the deep state, with the Epsteins, with the, and then to go back and say, excuse me,
actually, here's the evidence.
Here's the left brain evidence. We reestablished the womb of creation, the right brain. We're tracking it, our emotional intelligence. We're smelling it. We're sensing it. We're all and what I got was, because we've been separated and we haven't had a container, not only a container of women sitting together, we had to we did silence, opened with a prayer. The instruction is full transparency. Sit down inside of our own seat, deep listening, speak for ourselves, do not speak for other people unless they've given permission. And to have the spaciousness as we listen, if there's something intense would come through, there's space where spirit wanted to come through to bring a prayer in to help harmonize our collective nervous system back into that deep rhythm of our earth body. We were able to do that. And where we needed a longer period of time in those meetings, because we were entering into the long tide, the healing tide. We're moving into the earth, planetary earth consciousness. We're moving into that soul place. And we actually were able to arrive there. And there was a couple of weeks that we all got kind of uncomfortable because it was like we were in a jacuzzi. We were like in this beautiful place and we had to go, but we weren't using our mouth. I was like, okay, we found the right brain, planetary body of wisdom, but now we have to open our mouth and communicate. And so it took us a couple weeks, and then we were able to get our integration, and we were able to build a trust field, even where there was someone that wasn't initiated. And we also got to review the elders councils and actually cross-generational council wheels, and where we were giving our power over to someone who's only gone through so many years in their life and hasn't had certain initiations, and we were giving our full power to this person as if they were a grandma elder with all those initiations, which doesn't work. But you see, we're in a colonized culture, so we're having to reestablish planetary infrastructure of original mother law in the midst of the system.
Right. So here's something to recognize for people to pay attention to. Just what she was saying about the elder not having been initiated in the ways of the mother, of the grandmother, of the wisdom keeper medicine. Okay. So you can have an elder, but that elder doesn't necessarily carry the wisdom. And why is that? Because they've been indoctrinated into the colonization culture, the oil road. Okay. And so this person maybe might not be able to stretch over to be able to meet the water road, to meet the wisdom keepers, to meet the young wisdom keepers. So the age, the physical age of somebody is not as important to me as paying attention to the wisdom coming out of them energetically, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. You need to pay attention and witness that person and say, where's that person really playing at? Where's that person coming from?
And where's their allegiance?
Where's their allegiance?
For real.
Right. For
Whether
real.
they're aware of where
their cognitive dissonance could be so strong in them that they think that they know and they have their wisdom over here.
They're committed.
But really, their indoctrination is from the oil
money,
road.
power, all of this culture tells you makes you valuable, successful. The more money you have, the better you are. Everyone throws their souls at the feet of these people.
Yeah,
we're going to help them. It's a trance. It's a trance.
It's a trance. It's a glamorization spell, people.
Trance. It's a spell.
It's a spell.
It's a spell.
The glamorization spell, and that is directly connected to the Dark Lord culture. The Dark Lord beings, the death culture. It's
not for humanity.
It is not human, organic, living soul culture. There's two cultures that are happening simultaneously.
Yes, we need
at the same time. We must recognize when there is that culture present. So our whole culture is that culture right now. And we are existing within that culture that has been overshadowing our organic living soul human culture in the ascension process.
Elements, emotional intelligence, bodies.
Right now, for example, we're having all of this cosmic energy deposit onto the planet. We have access to more light and more cosmic gamma energy, plasma energy than we've had in hundreds of years, right? And we're going through this magnanimous moment in history, like that's never even happened before. And here we are with the dark overshadowing, going, no. Sorry, I don't accept that. I just don't. I'm not willing. Yes, I have to be on the front lines. Yes, I need to pay attention to what's happening because I am someone who has to shift the paradigm. I'm flipping the switch. I'm flipping the script, right? I'm going to be right there on that edge. I'm going to walk that line super hard because that is my job. But you better believe I'm going to be paying attention to this over here. And this is my priority, and my prime directive is spirit, period. I am so clear about that. So what am I looking at over here in the oil road? I'm looking at where the actions are that are moving us towards the water road. I'm looking at what actions are people taking, who's talking, who's opening, who's lifting the veil, who's taking action in a positive direction towards a positive end. Who are those people? Those are the people I'm paying attention to.
Yes. Thank you, Saralise. And I just saw the opening for the question.
The heart.
It's all about the heart, family. It's all about coming into
All about the heart.
When we drop it, the divine feminine principle in all of us is our right brain embodied dreaming principle.
Right.
Emotional intelligence, that which is going to be able to track the invisible dimensional realms, which is connected to our multi-dimensional awareness that was disconnected a long time ago, that now the plasma from the sun
is allowing us to reconnect with
proteins, to reconnect
on the DNA,
little deals,
subatomic layers of reality, nanoparticles, atoms and nuclei, activating liquid plasma light within ourselves.
There we go. And family, I just want to put a shout out to the human and humanity and how beautiful we are.
Yeah.
And that this is our time of awakening right now. And whereas we may have these other dimensional realms or these beings that are ourself and our helpers and however we want to look at it are in those dimensions. But here as a human being, we're able to access multiple dimensions from the third dimension. That is very special.
Yeah.
We are very
the fact that we are embodied right now and we have the capacity to be able to access all the other levels.
And that our planetary cosmic body is actually our own body.
Yes. That we are the command center.
What? Oh my goodness. Oh, right.
Amazing.
Internal technology? You mean I can travel without a spaceship? Actually, when I'm aligned? Oh, I can. I actually can.
Yeah.
Right. Internal technology, all this little. So you had, it's all about, I actually saw it on my way to Egypt in 2014, which was my fifth journey there, which actually we mentioned earlier. And I saw the white owl who sits like right on the shoulder of the mother goddess. And it was flying at me in my vision. And it had all of this distraction frequency in its face. And that's what the oil road is doing to us.
Well, that's because the owl situation has been hijacked, right?
Well, okay, let's just talk about the freaking deep state and this death cult and the fact that they went in and stole all of our freaking the symbols.
Everything is a reverse spell, you guys.
They have done curses on symbology. Everything belongs to humanity. They have done curses on everything. Lilith, as we all know the story, said, hey, I'm equal. Adam's not like being like right with me. I'm taking a hike. And they said, Lilith, get your butt back here. Otherwise, we're going to kill 100 of your children and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, I'm not coming back. So they did kill her children. And then they put a reversal code and cursed her and said, oh, Lilith kills her children. She kills the children. She siphons off these energies.
Oh, and guess what happened? They created a relic with the child of humanity, and I had to go in and lock it.
Okay, girl. Well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to freaking clean this mess up. And
I'm not going to say where I did that, but I did that, you guys. Like,
you did that interdimensionally in the right perfect spot.
In the spot where it was being held by dark magic.
Well,
literally the physical location where they had placed these things.
Yes. So Saralise and Laurel Kitten, and there's some others around. I would call us the planetary priestesses for real.
For real.
Last cycle since 2007, where it really the gate opened for me with the whole red lightning prayer. I'm not going to go into that, but I brought a red lightning prayer of the mother came through the blood work.
And that birthed the Red Lightning camp at Burning Man. Just FYI.
Yes. That there have been
so that people understand what you're talking about, like.
Red Lightning at Burning Man theme camp was the original prayer was birthed out of my moon lodge and my ceremonial menstruation and my receiving of wisdoms that brought the lady queens together to have a council around starting this whole return back to the circle.
It was the only spiritual camp on the playa every year for years and years and years and years and years.
Men's lodge, the safety
incredible teepees went up, Central Fire happened. It was incredible, you guys. Like,
well,
absolutely
okay,
phenomenal.
okay.
Until such time as the hijacking occurred. But anyway,
but red lightning's prayer is a water prayer. It's a return.
Right.
It's bringing the original blood wisdom back into humanity.
Right.
And we've been the community of Red Lightning. It's like we've been on a chessboard. We've been bringing this beautiful reclaiming of humanity and the sacred bloods of humanity. But we've also had the you know, if the devil, if Lucifer's there, you got Christ there too. They're in the same place. Okay, so we were literally playing a chess game where there was an infiltration at the beginning that I had the biggest no of my entire life in any subject topic of my being. I said no to this particular energy in 2009 that I didn't.
In the very beginning.
But when this being spoke, I was like the biggest no of my life, and I'm not joking. And no one would listen. Why? Because the bells and whistles and how big and amazing the glamour and all of that. We are in a trance, and
now he's running for president.
Don't we do that, right? Okay.
One of the people that's come forward.
Who told me directly last year that he will be the transition president in 6 years. So.
Oh, please.
But he's with the family. He was in Dr.
No, he will not be.
He that deep state. So, okay.
Not happening.
No, we got to make it through. So what's the point? I lost the
Sorry,
track.
not going to happen.
I'm like, but
2009.
I learned so much. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but.
The original prayer. The original Red Lightning prayer.
I don't know, but I'll just say that we
said no to that energy.
That energy, well, I can stick on that thread. And so that energy did sneak in on the sidelines, hidden out throughout the years, but was still there at different points. And then last year I had the opportunity to meet this energy head on in the prophecy of the two roads. And we had the blood prayer there, and we had the Rose Temple with the living art from all the ceremonies over all the years. And that prayer field, I kept getting at the beginning, during the year of preparation, that we were supposed to have a specific ceremony for the masculine, meaning for our consciousness.
Right.
And because of the bigger spiritual war we were in, that did not get planned in the physical, but we had the way the mystery works and the way through living prayer. It happened through 3 different men who entered into that Rose Temple and received the full Holy Shekinah, full transmission of that library, not on any substances. Doctor, scientist, the first man, doctor and scientist. Wow. Had to lie down at the altar of where we had the rainbow sun flame, which here's the good news. I think this is where I was going to go. In 2013, the end of 2013, we received a flame, a fire from the great central sun through a quartz crystal sphere into tobacco into our flame, caught from Truth I Manifest in Asheville, North Carolina, for a sacred ceremony at that threshold crossing. I was staying with Truth I, Naradana, and Persea, their baby girl. And
she had just come in.
Well, she was 4 months old when we caught
in the Perseid showers on August 10th, 11th, and these two girls were birthed at that
Sophia
time.
was the first day, and Sophia is Jason and Lizzie's daughter, and Jason was with us in 2009 at Red Lightning and held the men's lodge and took the men in ceremony of each of the teepees, which is the life wheel of ancestral realm, conception, being born into the earth, first blood, first ejaculation, birthing our babies in our projects, holding our blood kingdom, queendom, dropping our mortal coil, and ancestral, astral realm where we review our life, back to the ancestral realm where we reincarnate again or we go someplace else. So, and the blood lodge, the moon lodge in the center, reclaiming that the blood of life that contains the stem cell, which is the one cell that becomes every other part, the feminine principle, the holy way that gives us everything, is returned back. So,
can I just?
Yes, please.
to translate that,
Do it.
for
Go.
everybody that just received that
Lost
transmission.
in the world of, oh my gosh, this was not where we were going. Okay, go
So
on.
everybody can receive that translation for that transmission. I'm probably going to botch it up, but I'm just going to say it simply to just kind of give you the overall outline of what that is. The circular holding container of that is that the mother, the cosmic mother, the divine mother, births from her own seed, okay? And that itself is the god, goddess, all that is. And the distortion in the oil road is that it's the father principle, when in fact it's the mother principle that gives life. So how is it that people are still believing that the father gives life? How is that possible? Because of the seed, right? But we need to understand that it's actually the mother that gives life.
The consciousness, the
consciousness,
masculine, what we think and feel goes into the womb of the woman,
right,
or the earth, and it wields the elemental chiefs into formation. So how the consciousness we're holding, our thoughts, our feelings, the earth receives it, the feminine womb
right,
receives it,
the womb of creation,
and grows it. So the masculine consciousness has to be pure and aligned,
and the masculine has to be in alignment with the feminine in order for that to happen. So that's how Jason was taking people through the cycles, all the cycles of life, so that they could re-establish themselves in right relations and reroot themselves and reground themselves to the earth, to goddess, to the womb of creation, so they understand that lives within them and can rise up from within them and create from that place.
Yes. Home base.
Home base.
Inner seat of our whole holy life.
Exactly. The seat of power.
Yes. So
is in the womb, in the sacred bowl, the hara for the men. It's the sacred bowl. It's the belly. It's all there.
Yes.
Right there. But until you get introduced to this information, it's very difficult to conceptualize or even intellectualize. On an intellectual level, it's hard to comprehend what that is. It's an experiential experience that is necessary in order for you to literally, for your DNA to like come online with what is going on. Your DNA has a physical reaction to this. Mm-hmm. So until that happens, the absence of that can cause mayhem in your life because you're not rooted in the earth. Your heart is not connected to your seat of power. Your heart is not connected to your mind. You're in your head. You're in your mind. You're in the mind's realms of linear construct, left brain, demon seed, death culture.
Which takes us to the birth gate.
The birth gate. Where they separate the mother and the child, people.
Well, it's where we actually also add interventions that impact the timing and tempo of our nervous system, turns off our natural hormonal system, that uninterrupted, happy, and peaceful in the process. 5 minutes after birth, we have a hormonal cocktail like no other time that glues us, bonding and attachment, thick. You can cut it like a knife in the room, fall in love with everyone there. Most of us in the birth culture of the hospital emergency model,
the baby gets taken from the mother.
It's even beyond that, because
there's so many levels.
our number one surgery is cesarean birth. Our number in
America. So if natural birth isn't happening, it's already a disconnection.
Well, check it. So let me
the drugs that are put into the body.
Number 2 surgery for women in America is a hysterectomy. But the number 1, that means the baby's out. Oh dear, I forgot. I hope I don't make black eyes under myself.
No, it's fine. Oh, you got a little thing on the left eye, on the side, just on the side.
Thank you, family.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm a natural girl. I forget. when like the baby's out in a minute and a half to 3 minutes. And most of the time
That's so crazy to think about.
And the thing is because the baby's not going through the birth canal with this compression that gets the lungs,
the energy,
and
the hormones kicking
set up, and that rite of initiation of the self in the body, and that
pushing through to be birthed into the world,
moving, and where you know
where willpower comes from.
Well, when the baby's taken that quickly, usually the soul, no one welcomes the baby in. So half the people who were born cesarean, the part of them that was supposed to come in at birth never did.
Right.
Because there was so much happening, which is all that action in the environment and people not differentiating. This is what's happening. This is, okay, we're going to stick the thing in your nose to suction that out. This is why we're going to do it. I mean, I've told babies at planned cesarean births before the process happened, and I was there at the planned cesarean after I already prepped the baby, and then I was there welcoming the baby and telling them as we went what was happening, and that baby didn't even cry.
Right.
Okay. So when
that baby wasn't traumatized,
when there's no differentiation, there's no saying what's happening, there's no explaining even at that first breath, then all of that information gets collapsed into the neurology of our first breath and our body, and our birth
trauma
is huge.
Let's just go into the fact that then they take the baby away from the mother, and rather than the mother bonding with the baby, latching on to the mother, receiving the mother's nurturing and the milk that's coming out of the mother. So then the mother is separated from the child. And then they take the baby away and they perform a circumcision on the baby, usually without the mother's permission or consent.
Well, now
but even to give birth in some hospitals, it's legal for them to make you sign a paper in order to give birth in that hospital. This happens a lot with Medicare, Medicaid situations where mothers that can't afford to pay for their own birth, right? They're on insurance, and wherever they're taken is a hospital where that is legal by law, quote unquote, to perform the circumcision, which is a satanic ritual. People, pay attention. It's a satanic. When you cut the foreskin of a child, it doesn't need to be cut. There's no reason for it to happen. The cleanliness is not actually true, because every single person that I have ever met that has foreskin is much cleaner, much more sensitive, much more in tune with themselves and their feminine, and they love their mothers, period, right? Like there's a level of a disconnect and indoctrination that happens right there. Okay, so go ahead. I could share my birth story about my son, but
So
it's a whole thing.
I mean, like, we're going to get some of these other things. Oh, let's talk about the president and stuff. I'm like, okay, wait, it's going to take a minute to get there.
I'm not going to talk about that right now, because there's still a level of charge in my body around that. So
okay, well, we're not there yet anyway, so it's okay.
It's fine.
So circumcision was actually a desert practice, and they never took the entire foreskin. They took just a little tip of the foreskin. So back when they were doing the Olympic Games and they would do them naked, nude, whatever, the circumcised men, they could still pull the foreskin over the head of the glands and tie it, so they're still nude versus naked. I see. Okay, when you remove the foreskin completely, it actually creates calcification. It creates, usually for younger men, there's a place where they have a lot of shame around sex. Actually, as a baby, it interrupts breastfeeding, self-soothing. Usually the men who do their work later in life, who have painful erections or painful orgasms because they had too much skin taken. When they do their emotional work, who they're mad at is their mother, even if their mother didn't know it was going to happen, which is a core foundation with our relationship with the women of our life and the men of our life. It's like sitting right there in the center.
It's a divine feminine wound.
It's a primal
wound.
It's actually
a primal wound.
It's a primal wound. And so young men will have premature ejaculation. Men as early as the 40s start having a hard time with erections, and a lot of it has to do with the calcification. Just as we're on it, the foreskin, the glands, it's like a little beautiful ribbing on the underside, little mucous membrane, and when there's an erect penis, it goes this way, the little mucous membrane here, but it's actually, the glands is an internal organ, okay?
Yes.
So the skin, and then it's an internal organ.
Right. So if you take away the covering of the internal organ, it becomes exposed.
And it's no longer new. You're now naked, but if we took our clitoral hood off, it would create calcification. It's just, yeah. So
which is happening. Genital mutilation is happening still.
Yes, it is.
Mind-blowingly.
It's actually, and actually, you know what? This is really sweet, but I'm actually feeling that somehow I want us to like bring things in, because I think I might want to transition to another space here and not too long.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I'm going to need to take a little pause, or I just need to take a little pause. But so we just got talking
Sure.
on circumcision. Little did we know we would end up there.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Right?
you know, it's all connected, right? Like the birth gate, the death gate. We can see what's happening in the death gate right now with the people in the nursing homes and them getting killed off. I mean, we could go into all the levels of what that is with the soul. We can have another conversation about
We
that.
need to do all the gates.
All the gates.
And can I just say one thing about the nursing homes? And it's just a general thing that I saw, and that is the place where who we are is love. And when we're not having accurate reflection reflected to us, we're not having someone loving us and reflecting love back to us, I saw that a lot of those people in the nursing homes have forgotten the love that they are, because there's no one there holding them in that way. So that when they drop their body, they don't go where they need to go. They have helpers on the other side, but usually the light of the love that we move into and through when we drop our mortal coil. My grandmother, for 16 years after her death, was still not home in the spirit realm.
Right.
Because it's like holy water. When I put holy water on certain suffering beings, it burns them. It hurts them. That is like the light of the love that my grandmother needed to go through. It burned her. She was, because she forgot the love that she is, that light is.
Right.
And there was no one praying for her. You know, I mean, I was praying for her, but that was 16 years later when I called to the attention that she is still here. Right. Not where she's supposed to be, because the trauma was so deep in her life. And it's interesting because that was my mother's mother, and my mother's father was in the military. He created smart missiles. Things happen. We can't really get the information, like what really happened there. So you know, this military lineage, it's had me go, what happened to my grandmother? Really, what happened to her? Something happened that I don't have
for sure.
Something.
I mean, I have my own experience with being in a military lineage and having that whole experience that I had, and my mother had, and my father had, and my sister has and is in still. You know, like I still have family members, you guys, that are working for the military, and for like 30 years, you know. So, and I don't have a relationship with them because of that. Like I have a relationship with them, but it's not a safe, nurturing, heart-centered connection that is constant because of that dynamic. Because it's safer for me not to engage. So think about that for a minute. Like I actually can't have a relationship with my sister in that way because of the position that she holds. Because she's protecting me and I'm protecting myself. And that's the truth. And it's so sad to think about the fact that later on in life, we're going to come together and we're going to have a conversation, you know, and it's going to be an interesting conversation to have about, you know, the fact that we haven't had a relationship because of her job.
Which is interesting because my mother didn't see, and still her one elder sister just died. and her younger sister's still here, but she hasn't seen her sisters in over 50 years.
Right. Like,
Because
what
of the
is that?
trauma of whatever happened with my
When
grandmother.
they were, yeah, when they were
It was
kids.
so serious that
Yeah.
even 16 years after her mortal coil, she's still not where she's supposed to be because the love has been forgotten, y'all. I mean,
Yeah.
we have so
And
much.
this is the thing. We need to be taking care of this. I personally am doing a lot of work when it comes to this. I have made sure that both of my parents and my whole ancestral lineage, they are all taken care of. And that is because I went out of my way to make sure that they were okay and to make sure that they needed whatever help they needed, they got.
Well, right? And
you know, and I mean, it's like, I'm not the end all be all miracle worker, but if I have the consciousness and the ability to support that and I'm not doing it, you know what I mean?
so
have a certain level of responsibility as souls to make sure that things get done. That's why we're here.
well, and we also need to remember that we need to cultivate a relationship to the invisible and our loved ones, and remember earth-based protocols on how we support our loved ones in their transition.
Exactly.
It's incredibly important, which takes us back. I know we're getting close because I'm going all the way back to a beginning point where what I discovered in 2018, I got a phone call from a brother who I love from Scotland who saw a photograph of me holding the rainbow sun flame.
Oh, wow.
And he sent me a Facebook messenger in the morning of the fall equinox 2018. And he said, "Hello, Laurel. Do you know about the Celtic Druid mythology and prophecy of the rainbow sun flame, the sphere, the ball arc that unites all of the rainbow tribes, and the re-releasing of the blood mysteries back into the mainstream culture?" I said,
I think you've told me about this.
It's extraordinary.
But tell me again.
I said, I do know about this as the living prayer that is guiding my entire life, but I don't know about the left brain knowledge information. Please do tell. And we actually spoke through Messenger every day for the next year, all on my artwork. He understood what everything was around living prayer. And he said to me halfway through the year, he goes, "Laurel, I have never met anyone who is as present as you are." I said, "Oren, you are sitting here in detail reflecting my life's journey and what I'm actually doing. And everyone over here doesn't have the time. They don't have the clue or any clue to even pay attention. I'm with a prophecy flame. I'm carrying the fire of the sun, caught by truth I manifest, for 6.5 years now.
Right. And we had been living together right before that happened, you guys. Just
my cat got run over in a magical, intense, wow story for another time, unbelievable, because she had to go out of her body. So I would leave Osiris, my other cat, so I could drive from Portland to LA to Florida to North Carolina before the year was up, because Spirit told me I had to go before the year was up and drive.
And get there.
And 2 days before.
And light that flame.
Well, no. I didn't know about the flame yet. So I did.
I know, but you got
to hear. This is perfect. I got to LA 2 days before I left to drive across the country. I did ceremony 2 nights in a row.
This is 2013, you guys. Just
2013. And in the ceremony, I saw white buffalo calf woman in Asheville looking across Turtle Island. And I was in LA as literally skeleton woman with a rose on my forehead looking back. So our original grandmother, our white buffalo calf woman, the bringer of the peace pipe, I was being told to go over there to get the sacred fire of the sun to light that chanupa, which this fire has been in 3 historic events in Canada. It's been burning in Canada and Vancouver since summer 2015, still burning, going to all the different ceremonies. It was at 3 historic events for the Aboriginal movement, the sovereignty movement, where the Aboriginals are breaking the treaties, the coppers with the colonizers. And those 3 ceremonies, that rainbow sun flame sat on the altar. It was the fire that lit those chanupas. We had the president of the Native American church that was up there with one of those chanupas, another powerful brother. And so it's also been in 3 chanupa moments, prayers in down here in the south of Turtle Island. It's been in rites of passage from birth to death. It's been at all 5 of the blood gates, the fire, literally multiple times. It's been in global ceremonies from Mayan to Native American to East Indian fire ceremonies, and on and on and on. African ceremonies, medicine ceremonies. It has this children's eternal peace flame, or AKA the rainbow sun flame, given to us in the middle of this red lightning prayer around reclaiming the blood of humanity and the gateway passages from birth to death, and bringing original mother law back so we can internally flower truly as the flowering humans of humanity, and go with our Mother Earth that is waking up right now. Be with the awakening of this planetary awakening, and finding our way through this, as this oil road has a very different agenda that it is very committed to over hundreds and thousands of years. That is a complete reversal code on everything that we know of as humans. We must bring the indigenous heart back. We must bring our own planetary body of our own sacred sanctuaries of elemental majesty and our spiritual root into the earth wherever we are. We need to build tribal nodal points again. We need to do the rites of passage. We need to remember the plants. We need to remember the medicines of the plants, how to prepare them. We need to go to our indigenous grandmothers and grandfathers, those of us here in Turtle Island and wherever you are around the world. We need to go to them, and where they still have their wisdom bottles intact. We need to make circles and containers where all colors of all people, all the indigenous heart wisdoms of all colors of the people need to come back around the sacred hoop. We need to share our wisdom language with each other, and we need to reintegrate as a true human being and take ourselves and our planet and our next 7+ generations back. It is absolutely necessary. This moment sets the tone for the next 800 years, family. That is over 7 generations. What we are feeling, being, doing, acting on right here, right now, we are the ones we've been waiting for, and we are the ones to seed something beautiful. While we have this whole AI transhumanism agenda reversal code that is soulless, and if we go too far down that path, then we will lose contact with our soul and become that addictive, icky thing I saw. And we already did that timeline. Our future is here now, telling us to do something different now. This is real. And in our political system, you know, one thing, and we're all careful, but there is nasty stuff that's sitting at the core base of the oil road. It is not, we must find our way and take our seat, stand together. It's Aquarian age. Find our planet, find our wounds, find our bellies, find our brothers, find our sisters, find our children, and actually have a really enjoyable, creative, synchronistic, empowering, amazing freaking life, which is not that other road, fam. It's not. And it's infiltrated. And we need to hear more of our own voices. And we do need to have more circles to hear from us in the woman heart, you know?
And I do want to just add that there are some really amazing things happening within the oil road right now to bring the water road online. And I want to acknowledge that just real quick.
Yeah, no, it's important. We want to be bridging. We don't want to be in polarization. We just want to know what we're dealing with.
So what's happening is there's a group of individuals who are within that oil road, within the deep state, right? Who have been in the deep state, who have lived through that experience, that have had enough. And they know the truth that God, Goddess wins. They know that. They know that in their hearts, they're heart-centered people. And they've made a plan and devised a plan to bring forward the ascension, to bring forward the revelation, whatever you want to call it, because from their interpretation, they see it differently than we do.
Yes.
Because they are not coming from a goddess culture. They're not coming from the space of the Holy Mother. They're coming from the Holy Ghost, okay? The Holy Shekinah shows up for them in the Holy Spirit and the Holy Ghost, okay? So they think of it as this all-pervading, beautiful light energy. But that is the Holy Mother. That is literally the Holy Mother that they're speaking to. They haven't quite put two and two together, that there's Mother, Father, God energy, and that it's the source of all living beings and everything in the space of love, the universal law of love. And that's okay, because they're still heart-centered beings. And what they're doing is they are taking down all the players of the deep state that are causing this perpetuation of the reversal code. They're literally going in from the inside out, and they're saving all the children that have been affected. They're cutting off all the supply of the adrenochrome. They're taking all the human traffickers and they're putting them away, or they're giving them execution and death. Like, that's actually happening right now. Just so you guys understand, these are crimes against humanity.
Yes. And
the vaccination agenda and all of those things are a depopulation plan that has been in place for a very long time. It has been systematically indoctrinated into our society with our eyes closed. Some of us have had our eyes open, but the rest of us got lulled to sleep somehow and forgot what was really going on, because we got lured and glamorized into the glittery things. Okay, so we are at a point right now where the veil has been lifted. We have a whistleblower in office. You need to hear this. This is a whistleblower that we're talking about. What happens when one of them becomes a whistleblower? Well, you're looking at it. What happens when one of the most powerful people on the planet becomes a whistleblower? This is what you got. This is what you're seeing. So regardless of what you think about any personality, it doesn't matter. This is good against evil right now. And we're not saying that the main player of this situation is 100% good and that other people are 100% bad. It doesn't work like that. But what we are seeing are the actions that are being taken are uprooting the control narrative. The control of the narrative is getting shifted. Mm-hmm. And that is what needs to happen, because media is owned by 6 companies that is feeding all the information into the population, and everybody's been lulled to sleep. And that has to change. And so Hollywood is going down. Politics are going, everything has to dismantle and then be rebuilt. And the global financial reset. Right now, the entire planet is revaluing their currency. You guys probably don't even know this. The entire planet is revaluing, each country is revaluing, 209 countries are revaluing their currency, which means that the US dollar is now no longer a fiat currency. It is no longer backed by petroleum, oil. It is now backed by gold, precious metals, okay? The gold frequency is the frequency of source. Boom, done. The US note, not the US dollar, the US note, okay? Backed by gold, precious resources, okay? Then the other aspect of it is the switching over of power, right? The transfer of power, flipping the script, but also transferring the power into the hands of the people. The people that they are making sure have them are going to be in positions of being able to be of service and to flood the economy are humanitarian project people. Okay, it's very specific. They are going out of their way to eliminate all deep state interference so that it's safe for the people to then come into the position to be able to support the economy and support the population and support all the people. that need support right now. And debt is getting completely erased. The US Treasury has absorbed the Federal Reserve and the IRS. Taxes are going away. There'll be one tax. I mean, it is amazing what's happening, you guys. So if you haven't heard of this, you need to look it up. GESARA, G-E-S-A-R-A, NESARA, N-E-S-A-R-A. So it's the Global Economic Security and Reformations Act. And in order for it to take place, there can be no war on the planet. And we'll be pulling all of our troops home. It is huge what's happening, because what happened was, through the deep state, they would send in an economic hitman to a country and negotiate them out of their money when they were rising up into a prosperous country and doing really well. They would send somebody in and crash their economy and make them enslaved to then feed the Rothschilds. Okay, so everything went back up to the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers, those two families. Okay, now that whole thing, which is then serving one Lord. Okay, so that's all been dismantled. We're looking at what the world looks like when the deep state starts panicking. You guys need to understand they're panicked because they are getting taken down. Okay, things are about to get announced on the planet. People that would shock you. It's going to shock the world what's about to happen. So I just want to say that to you so you can mentally prepare yourself for this next level of information that will be revealed. It was just discovered that online platforms have been trafficking humans through storage cabinets. Okay, it is no joke. It is across the board. Amazon, eBay, Wayfair, Overstock, Etsy. Okay, it is no joke what's happening right now, and we need to understand that it was permeated throughout our entire culture.
It's their number one money.
Money.
Their number one money is sex trafficking of our children.
The number one biggest industry on this planet was human trafficking.
Horrible, y'all.
Second day in office, Trump signed an executive order to end it and to stop it planetarily on the second day of his presidency. You guys need to understand this. It's not about Trump. It's about what's happening. It's about what's happening. What's been calculated down to the minute. This stuff has been calculated by a group of professional military white hats. They have planned this for 20 years. It is no
100. I think it's been 100 years.
Well, 100 years, but in modern time, in the last 20 years, is when they were like, okay, we've had enough. We need to do something about this. And then they had to watch all this crap happen with the online, with the internet, and like watch it all just manifest into this horrendous, hideous, blood-drinking, vampire, rapacious, pedophile culture.
Wrong. No, y'all, we got to take our planet back.
They were celebrating each other, and they were all in bed with each other. It's insanity.
No, this group of people can no longer have our planet, y'all. It's hard.
They've got us.
No, it's nasty. No,
it has to be stopped.
Okay. So when the women are at the center and like when we come back together,
councils,
and we find out, what I'm feeling is true. Oh, you're feeling that too.
Right.
Oh, we're tracking it from an intelligent place of emotional intelligence, our original mother-in-law.
Heart-centered intelligence.
You can't throw it. You can't. The moths won't put up with it if we're together and we're clear, because this is our children.
Exactly.
On the planet being eaten alive. That is not okay. Which, let me just take it to say,
and if you haven't done the research, you guys, and you want to know what's going on, you've got to go down the rabbit hole. I'm sorry, but you need to know what's happening so you're prepared. So it's coming right now.
Okay, so and here's my process, because I've been doing my research for 30 years. Usually I receive my information directly, and then like last year, I get it directly, and then usually
through experience.
Brain, outside in comes to me after I have the true knowledge of direct revelation, which is our woman way. It's the divine feminine principle when we're actually standing in how the creator created us, which takes a lot of work of initiation, rites of passage, taking care of what we got to do for ourselves, getting our community to do what we got to do and get caught up here, right? Oh gosh, and saying that takes me into that circle and like, where was I going with this? I don't know, but I'm going to pop it back to say, just so you all know, with Trump, I said his name, based on the archetype that he was carrying, before he was even elected, I was like, this is a distraction. I actually don't even want to be on the mainland if he comes into office.
Right.
Where I was.
I left for 2 years.
Well, I went to the Big I for during that window. I was like, thank you. And I actually spiritually was given permission not to track the politics and not track the White House action and all that for the first time, because there was other important work that needed to happen and be grounded in, and I didn't need to be distracted by the
and that's what I did too. I did that around the world, right? I went around and started lifting the veil and doing all the Stargate work. Just so you guys know, for 2.5 years I was gone traveling the world and doing a bunch of work while Laurel Kitten was in on the Big Island doing what she was doing. So we were communicating, but we were both working on this like around Turtle Island, kind of like.
Well, we're planetary priestesses.
Yeah.
And so the geomancy, the global work for the actual planetary body herself.
Right. We were doing
some of us are working at that level, and that's actually been my first job, but I never even think to talk about it because it just is. And
exactly.
But that's what, Saralise is doing over there. So the last few years, as I've been
continuing as we've come back, we've been continuing our work. We didn't stop just because
we have not stopped.
We haven't. Stop. We've been doing this our whole lives.
We're still here. That means we'll continue on, right? Yeah. So the last few years, I've been hearing through different threads that I am tracking around the alliance and around our president being a part of that. And to be honest up front, I was like, no, I'm not believing it, because I know how the shadow works both sides. I also know how, from my direct experience in my community, how the people of the oil road come into already established or into beauty way establishments, and they infiltrate in, they learn language.
Exactly.
And then they take over and they try to corrupt the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
They come in from the inside.
It's part of the protocol. Remember, the paradigm, we want to think of them as two different paradigms, so we know how to address it and just be clear with what is, right? So I was like, no, I still don't get them. And then only 2 months ago is the very first time I listened to our president. And I've been listening to him for the last 2 months for the very first time, family, okay? Some of the things he's saying I'm not liking, but I also know we're in a spiritual war here that's very specific. And so I have a lot of spaciousness to some of those things I don't really like, knowing that, it's a game of war, actually, to not be in war. So we're
actually in a war.
We're in a war. And they do consider this a third world war, the deep state. And Buckminster Fuller said the third world war is an invisible war. We're in war. They are even using
the invisible enemy.
This is invisible war, okay, to take our souls and to eat our children. Y'all, our president, Kennedy, Eisenhower, what's that other one? Reagan, 1964. Our presidents,
there were way more before that too. Lincoln.
They are calling these frequencies out. All this stuff that the community's sending around, that's conspiracy. I'm like, I'm sorry. All of that is being spoken out of the president's mouth. Okay, so in listening to our president, half of what he's saying, I'm not necessarily into, but I have a larger space.
I think he's walking the line. Too.
I think he's walking the line too. I actually do too. But then the other half
says things within what he's saying, and you're like, if you know what he's saying, you actually get what he's saying. If you don't know what he's saying, you think he's talking gibberish, but he's actually not.
Family, since I am so freaking clear, I feel so integrated. Blessings to any person who does the research and does the work. This takes a full-time job. You have to go through layers. Be patient with yourself. I have to go through layers of grief in the last years. Some things I wish I never had to see, or I had to process for 6 months. Some of the spirit cooking images. of the cult rituals.
Yeah.
Okay, there are things, seeing how poverty is one of the tenets of the deep state, of the oil road, and watching how that poverty is in different countries around the world is a very important tenet for them, because it allows them to enslave children and mothers and all these.
To go in and totally take over.
And through it's
infiltrate.
It's just, you guys, it's so crazy. So anyway,
so crazy.
When I hear the president speak, and I know what I know, and I hear what he's saying, 50% of what he's saying is blowing my mind in a good way, saying he is full on calling out this corrupted, nasty reality. And I just had my friend from Scotland send me a messenger tonight, say, the Clintons sold us out to China. Well, there's clearly a situation going on here.
And, absolutely, 100%.
And I'm seeing it, so I'm going to say it. So this is kind of intense, family. But the occultist aspect, the ritualistic aspect of this death cult, these rituals, very intentional. They've been going on for I think the 1700s is when Aleister Crowley.
He was at the turn of the century. He was
1700. But we had there was a big.
But the 1600s is when the Illuminati was created.
Yeah. Okay.
Right in there is when it got a little hairy.
Yeah, I totally just went back in time, and I'm like, where was I going with this? But I don't know. But hearing him, knowing what I know, it's blowing my mind in a good way, because it really does seem
Trump. She's talking about Trump.
Our president is full on taking on the deep state shadow government, the underground bases of where the kids are being trafficked, and all the nasty. It seems like our president is truly taking that on with the alliance.
Yes, and I can actually confirm that, because I have had Okay, so go ahead. I'll share after you're done. Sorry.
That's basically it. So I'm someone who was so anti because of the style and what seems so disrespectful, that now when I come back and I listen, I actually am now understanding why my dad, who was a full-on right-wing Baptist, full on, who was so scared, he was so afraid for me. I'm actually understanding and processing that the last few months, because the whole Democratic Party and some of the people, through my own ignorance and naivete, liked to find out what's really going on. It's having me do a paradigm shift in myself, which takes time. So be gentle with ourselves as we do research. No, we have to go through you need to have a buddy that's doing it with you sometimes. Just to go, oh my God, I'm exhausted, I can't do anymore, but I got to finish this research. And you go through layers, and eventually you're able to stand with what's happening without giving your life force to it, in order to be a warrior, to figure out the next intelligent move with the community you're working with on how do we take our lives back, take our families back, take our planet back. And here my own really close family that I've adopted, hearing the children talk so horrible about Trump and me.
The brainwashing is so intense.
60 seconds. I almost got disowned.
Yeah, so she's about to share an experience she literally just had a couple of days ago. Yesterday.
Where I literally, all I said was, I've been completely anti him. I haven't even watched him until 2 months ago. Half the things he says I'm not in alignment with, but the other half he's saying, he seems to absolutely be clear, dealing with the biggest insidious problem on our planet. And I actually am blown away in a good way. I actually feel really good about him. And that is all I said. And that it was I almost was no, we're not going to talk about this. This is going to be, don't even bring it up. It's not going to be pretty. That's what was said to me. It's not going to be pretty. We need not to talk about this. It's not going to be pretty. And just shut it down. I was it scared me. I was
yeah.
So anyway, we're all doing the best we can.
Deep levels of mind control.
It's so
here's what I want to speak to in my observation and what I experienced, just real quick. So the personality was repulsive to me at first, because all I could think of was bully, narcissist, arrogant, pumped up, blah, 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 ego. But then I started to see the actions that were manifesting. And the way that it happened for me was on July 4th and July 5th of last year, my hometown had two humongous earthquakes. Okay. And so then on the 6th, I gathered a group of people, got on the phone, 13 people, and we went to work on the underground base where this had happened. And it was cleared out and everybody was gone. And that's never happens, right? So I grew up at a secret military base. You guys need to understand where I come from. I'm not going to go into it right now, but my father was top secret in the Navy. So he was a top secret engineer. He was very high level. And I grew up in a town out, at this base, basically. And for the first time ever, I was able to go in and do what needed to be done for the grid work in that area after this earthquake happened. The dangerous part was it was 5 miles away from the San Andreas fault line, which could crack off California. Okay, you have to understand, I grew up in California, right on the San Andreas fault. I experienced earthquakes there many times, especially when I was 2. I had a thing fall on top of me. Like it was a mess. So I had a dresser fall on top of me and I survived it. So just to understand that it's in a very precarious position to have an underground base with 2.1 million acres of land. Right? They stored the stealth fighter underground in my hometown, in the underground base next to my hometown. The stealth fighter is the TR-3B, the black triangular craft, the one that goes invisible. There's an invisible craft, and that is the one that I grew up with in my hometown. Okay? So you can imagine how many things I've seen. So when this happened last year, I went in with a team and remote viewed the whole situation and went to activating the grid and cleaning house and energetically clearing out whatever needed to be done in relation to that. That event saved 35,927 children in cages underground. I need you to understand that. When that happened, and I felt the children that had been there, and I was able to give them back their energy. Okay? Give back 36,000 soul energies to the children that survived, and then clear out all the other kids that were dead. Okay? You have to understand, it was no joke for me. That's when I said, okay, what's going on here? What is going on here? I need to look into this. I need to pay attention. I mean, I'd heard about it. I'd heard about Q, but I had no idea the level that they were operating on.
So bad.
Okay.
So bad.
I grew up. My house was right outside next to Nimitz Hospital, underneath Nimitz Hospital, which has been closed for God knows how many years. Can't even find it on the map. That hospital, that's where they were storing all those children, okay? It's no joke, you guys. My hometown, which also produced, or it received the Nazi scientists from Project Paperclip, where all the mind control experiments happened. I have literally dismantled MK Ultra in myself, okay? You have to understand, I have protocols to get out of those situations. So for me, I needed to start doing research. I needed to see what was going on. I needed to understand on a deeper level what was really playing out here. And then I started to go to work on the grid, on all these other levels, to be like, okay, the transfer of power is happening now. We got to get to work. And then it set into motion, and it was like a 3-week period where I couldn't sleep at all. It was so crazy. So after that experience, I started doing the research about what was going on in terms of Q and really paying attention. But even then I wasn't paying attention, and I was still doing all my planetary work until the coronavirus hit. And then I was like, okay, I need to stop everything I'm doing, and I need to do some research, and I need to figure out what's going on here. And I'm on the front lines, and I've been up every single night ever since. Like, I have not slept. I have been completely dedicated, because I realize how important this threshold is that we are in right now. This is not about politics, you guys.
It's about life.
This is about spiritual warfare at its most extreme. Like, if there was ever a spiritual war on this planet, we are in it right now.
We are in it.
We are in it. And over 100,000 children so far have been rescued. Please understand that. That is happening behind everything else that's going on.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So people need to understand that this is no joke. Like, all these little activities that are, maybe exacerbating people's emotional bodies, right? And then there's all these protests and all this crazy stuff happening. That's all the deep state, dude. That's all them grasping to keep control of the narrative. And they're losing control, and they don't want anything more than to keep control of the narrative. This shit's not going back in the box, man. Pandora's box has been opened, and it's all flying out everywhere now. It's all being exposed to the whole population, what they've been doing right under our noses.
Yep.
And yesterday, or 2 days ago, it went mainstream. Wayfair. Just type it in. You'll find all the information. It went mainstream yesterday. Like, the entire planet, if not just the United States, but the entire planet is talking about what happened 2 days ago. Regular people.
Which I'm still shuddering. This
Yeah.
was a big one. It was not
massive.
You already know, but it's so massive that it's like one of those, waves of how we handle this stuff. This one is super uncomfortable.
Super uncomfortable.
And
everybody is uncomfortable.
And we have to just really hold ourselves as we go through our consciousness, being able to really be with this, which actually it's so bad. And what I was seeing, and I really want to bring this in just with this whole pandemic situation that we're in.
Scamdemic.
The scamdemic. The deep state's agenda to take over and get us into, oh my gosh. Okay, so family. First, Saralise, thanks for holding the beauty way of the financial reset and the gold. Again, where the Christ is right now in our war, we've got Christ and Lucifer. We have both exactly mirrored and balanced in the space, which the teachings of the Dakini, the wrathful deities, my training with the wrathful deities was to be able to, the teachings I received was that the consciousness we're up against, we need to be sitting in an equal power to meet what we're dealing with.
Right.
And we have to sit.
You have to be right there.
Center. You have to sit in the center of balance. Yeah. So there's no polarization, and you have to meet it in total balance and in that there's a shift in the pattern. There's a healing that can take place. But you've got to meet it where it's at and be able to hold it in your own body and your own consciousness. This is the wrathful deity teachings that I learned. So what's the point here? I'm with the wrathful deities. Oh yes. So the spiritual realms, the invisible realms that we all haven't been being initiated and tracking into with all this externalized reality, not having our rites of passage, not having our moon lodge every month, not having our boys' rights, all these things. We are having them in certain tribal cultures still. And so we need to go to those cultures if they're open to sharing. We need to do our own creations. We need to bring these ways back.
We have those.
Right. So now these occult practices of the death cult, using and working with these children that are being mailed through the frickin' what are you talking about horribleness. I had heard a YouTube about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it was only about 10 minutes long or so. And it was basically a compilation of people who were in for COVID under the medications and the drugs, saying what they experienced when they were in the hospital. So I got to hear for 10 minutes all these different people and the visions that they saw. Okay. When you understand, I'm going to tell you what some of them are. It's very intense. But when you
brace yourself, people, brace yourself for this. Because I have another person that actually got COVID, and she went through a whole initiation with herself, and her partner got it, and they had two different experiences, and the entities that were present and the energy that was present, it was very, very, very dark. Very dark.
Okay.
So and it was an entity, like literally an entity.
We're talking spiritual war again.
Yeah.
Okay. So the ritual, the satanic rituals, the things that are done in those rituals, which I'm not going to speak into the space here, but will be touched upon when I tell you what the people saw, because what I'm going to tell you that they saw is all interlinked to the invisible realm of the occult death satanic rituals.
Correct.
Let's remember that the beings that have lost their internal heart bliss of the soul are in the endless well of addiction, the whole the whole shadow culture. They indoctrinate children through alcohol, drugs, blood, sex.
They drink blood.
Like
they kill other children.
It's
a fact.
It's a fact. It's what they're doing.
They eat them.
It's okay. So and so basically these people, one person was they thought they were taking his catheter out. Is that how you say it? Catheter. And he thought he was being raped. Someone saw like blood dripping down the walls of their room. Someone else saw dead babies floating with no faces, which is part of the occult. They learn how to take it off while the baby's still alive, so the maximum stress hormones, so they can get the maximum high when they eat the blood.
And
they were seeing the doctors and nurses with animal heads on them. One person, they were going to do a procedure and they swore they were trying to kill them, and they were putting them in an oven to cook them. When I heard this, and the place where, again, like the being I saw, what I witnessed in the interdimensional realms, a harvesting ritual last year that I saw months before it happened. Back to last year, where I'm bringing the living and community loving blood prayer of the Water Road. We were also dealing with a structure in our camp that I would say is for the new smart cities. Again, that culture lies. They never tell the truth. They speak the good flowery language. They speak the right words, but they don't tell you the truth. That's not part of their value structure. Matter of fact, that's what we humans do. That's not the way they think. That's not the way they do it, as we continue with the culture here. So when they have to feed the loosh, they feed off of the energy. So I was
so that people know what loosh is.
Yes.
Loosh is the negative energy that is produced from fear and sexual practices and all of those practices of terror. So that's loosh. And that can be produced in any sort of torture situation, which then produces adrenochrome in the blood, which is then taken to be utilized for use for, it brings back life energy to that other person, but it's to the person that ingests it. But the beings themselves are feeding off of the loosh, the energy that's produced from the terror.
And it's not just that, it's from even us humans who are out there at a festival.
Right. And it could be a positive thing too.
And people not being rooted in their own spiritual root and going to a ritual that they don't know is being set up by one of the deep state.
Exactly.
And it's for the new smart cities, and it's a whole infiltration into the reclaiming of the blood gates of humanity. Hello.
Yeah.
We're talking Christ and Lucifer in the chess game of life that I just had to go through last year. And it's real. And so whereas we're dealing with the physical, there are those of us on the planet that are dealing with the ceremonial interdimensional. And it is very important. And that happens to be the thread of where I've been participating, and Saralise has been participating.
And other people that we know as well, not just us.
So
there's other people that have had very, very deep experiences in this regard.
Yes. And so where the evening of the harvesting ritual, I went over at the very beginning with the smudge and all of that. I could not even stay in the field. I could not. So I went into the Rose Temple, and there were 6 other people. So 7 of us were in there actually talking about me. And literally did a divine intervention around my consciousness as I was carrying the library of the original blood codes of all these years of work through this particular prayer. And they literally physically surrounded me. And as they had me in a beauty way, at one point my consciousness went out to the ritual that was taking place. And one of the sisters said, "Laurel, where'd you go? Where did you go? Come here." Like she kept
I need you.
Like we're standing there. My consciousness went to check, and she's like, "Where'd you go?" And it took me her a minute to get me back because I wanted to see what was happening.
Oh, I see.
Came back. We continued the process, and then at a next level of the ceremony, spontaneous ceremony that happened of protection, my consciousness looked out there again, and I saw an interdimensional ship harvesting the consciousness and electromagnetics out of the people. And I saw it for 1 second, and my girl goes, "Where did you go? Stay here." I said, "Okay." I came back in, and not long after that, the brother that was with us went to the door of the temple, and he said, "Can I do a grid here?" I said, "I already did a grid there. Why don't you go on the outside and do it there, please? Thank you." So he went and did a grid, and he stood guardian at the gate. When we finished our ceremony, the harvesting ritual had already completed a little bit before. When I went out the temple door, there was an art car that was, of course, the eye and the pyramid. It was there at each time this structure went up, got taken down. It was there for the rehearsals for the harvesting ritual. It was there for the harvesting ritual, but it was sitting on the other side of the esplanade looking at the
Right.
I walked out.
Perfectly placed.
But when I walked out, everyone was gone, but it was still there, but it was now on the inside, this side of esplanade in our camp before the mandala. And I literally walked out and saw it, and I started running with my fist in the air, screaming. Like I did it like 4 or 5 times before I went, "Wait, that's an art card." I was like, "No!" It was like Joan of Arc. "No!" Like it was in our house. I was like, "No!"
Right.
I mean,
get it out.
I'm really good through my channeling, through my everything. I'm really good at keeping my own connection to where we are in time and space.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, I just was like, I was like, "Get that out of our house." It was so deep. So the people in the ritual, the people who were watching the show, half of them fell asleep. There were people who were on their way there who didn't make it, who were supposed to be helping because they fell asleep.
Right.
One of the sisters that came out was totally stripped. I mean, good news is our human bodies can regenerate. And it took her a couple days to regenerate, but I knew her quite well because we were working. She was stripped of her frequency, and she was so upset. And so I actually would, so the point is, as people go in the COVID and they're going in there, which not only are these occult ritual death practices interdimensionally showing us through seeing that, is that system that was created by the Rockefellers, our 12-year Sheeple School, our medical system, in 2009 in the Moon Lodge, in our ceremony, the surprise for me, what came through is they want the dissolving of the medical system and the frickin' prison system in the way it is currently set.
And the police system too.
That's not what came through in the Moon Lodge. In the Moon Lodge.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This was in 2009. It was the jails and the medical system. It's not just the heart.
What's their intention for that?
I just spiritually, it just came through, and I would say it has to do with who created that system and how they are harvesting and using the whole opioid drug. Prove those vaccines are safe. They haven't done that. That's already been shown. never did.
So the dissolving of the medical system, and what's the other one?
And the jail and the whole prison system.
So who wants to dissolve those?
Spiritually in the Moon Lodge,
Right.
in reclaiming and grounding this beauty way back into the world,
Right.
the whole medical system as we know it, and the whole prison system as we know it, the earth was communicating in its
the earth was.
structure.
Okay. Sorry, I was completely hearing that you were talking about them, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, wanting to dismantle.
The earth
like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, the earth, the divine heart of the earth. Yeah. Yes.
So, interestingly enough, what is it that is one of the main projects that will come and surge out of the dismantling of that whole system, medical system? What is the resurgence is the new way, the new system that is coming online.
And the ancient system of back to the earth.
Yes, but it's back to the earth, but it's also like recreating and developing and grounding a foundational system.
It's sustainable, beautiful, life-giving.
Exactly, with like med beds, like regrowing limbs, and like having vibrational therapy be the predominant, and homeopathics and all the alternative forms of, to keep the body healthy and vibrant and thriving and in perfect health.
Food.
That is what's coming.
Real food.
Real food.
Soil. Real, like, living earth.
Reenacting the soil and bringing the soil nourishment back online.
We grow our food and, like, be real humans again. So, yes. So two paradigms. So this harvesting.
No more chemtrails.
No more chemtrails. We're breathing in stuff. Also, I just want to say that this whole pandemic it's the lies. You see the lies everywhere. From the lie, that's the oil-based road, though.
Yeah,
it's not. Absolutely. So we have to reformat how we're like thinking. Yeah, it's just they're gonna lie. That's just part of how they wouldn't be in that road if they weren't lying. They would be over here with us from the heart, and transparency, and wanting everyone to be healthy and take the right things that heal you. But
there will be people that can move into this other thing. They'll be able to transition over. I think some will be the younger generations of people, if they aren't too indoctrinated into the scientific way, quote unquote, they will be able to move and transition over into this other way of being heart-centered. But they're going to have to go through their own healing process in order to get up to speed and get to a level where they can actually function within a different framework. Right? That's a key factor here, is that there might be a lot of people who are like, yeah, I can do that. I want to be a part of that. Right? And I want to get a job hold on a minute.
It's about building bridges.
Just hold on. You got to go through your own process first here. Like, this isn't just an automatic, I'm going to hire you because blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen, because every single person on some level will need to be vetted. Right? To their own level of consciousness, because when you are a service to self being as opposed to a service to others being, those distinction points are very important. You can have somebody who has very good intentions, but they're service to self being, and they don't realize, who they are. They're still indoctrinated. Did you ever find that thing that you wanted to? That
I did, okay, and I
perfect.
Been on the phone for quite a good stint, and there's actually so many things.
This is the perfect time.
This is the perfect time.
We could just keep talking for the next 5 hours, you guys.
Well, this is the point. There's so many points.
Oh my God.
That we need to be able to do this again, because at this moment I'm feeling like tired, a little hungry, and
I'm getting really hungry actually.
Yeah. So we need to do self-care, take care.
Yeah.
This is our first time we've come together and talked in a while, and the first time I think on Zoom like this. I don't think we've actually done our talks where we've recorded.
I don't think so.
This is our first one.
Yeah. But there's going to be lots of them.
So
I have a feeling.
There's so many points I do want to cover, but this could be for another moment. So this
is the introductory video. For the next ones where we'll actually talk specifically about subject matters.
Well, I think we've been doing lots of
we've run the gamut, but I'm saying we will focus on very specific things in the future.
Yes. So Before I read this, because it's going to be like the serpent eating its tail and bringing us back to the beginning point so we can close in a good way and open into our next moment in a good way. I want to just say thank you, Saralise, and I want to say thank you to everybody.
Laurel.
Thank you, honey. Yeah,
I love you.
I love you. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's joined us and who will be joining us.
Thank you so much
So
for being
appreciate
here.
you.
Witnessing us.
Right?
Getting through this 2.5 hour, 2 and 45, it's going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes by the time we're done or something.
So this is
worth it though.
Right? So I just want to say thank you for joining us, and as we're preparing to read this last thing and whatever closing moments we need to have here, I'm just seeing that 800-year cycle again right now, and this gateway we're in, and how significant it is, and how important each one of us is in our own inner alchemy, and you know, just really inviting the depth of self-love and self-care, because each one of us is so critically important. And the human is truly God's love song. Remember, from 3D, we can connect to all the other dimensions, or, you know, as a human being. We are of the Mother Earth who's waking up in the cosmic gateway of the neighborhood we're in right now. Mm-hmm. This is a very profound moment that we even are here on this planet. Mm-hmm. So the God's love song. We are precious. If we could remember how important our love is, we would be sharing it a lot more. I want to honor our creatures, our creepy crawlers, our flora and fauna, our oceans, our creatures of the oceans. I want to honor the sacred heart of our planet, our ancestors, backwards and forwards, and really honor this precious life that we have. May we remember the sacred water, and that as we're in very intense environmental shifting times, if you are living in an area that's really hot and dry, I'm going to request, this is the new campaign, put bowls of water with rocks so the insects can come and drink. Put water on your porch, put it in your yard, pay attention to what creatures are in your environment. Think water, think how can you support and be supportive and helpful for them. In 2014, I was in New Mexico. It was so hot that the insects, and there was no water, were landing on my body to drink my sweat. I mean, that's thirsty. So to start to connect to our own inner seed, our own inner root, our own emotional intelligence, our taking time for soul time each day, eat the good food. You can't, get the non-GMO organic, clean the vessel, be the crystal, be in nature, sit on the ground of the earth, receive the electromagnetics, take care of yourself to fluff yourself, your field, and your families. Take care now, because we're in a great transition and we are really important. And know what we need to know, do our research, but also take time to clean it out of our ears and our eyes, and take pauses and breaks, and clean yourself, make space, integrate, and then do your next level of track.
And lay on the earth. If you can get on the earth and actually lay on the earth, or walk barefoot in the grass.
Yes.
Allowing the magnetic and electric parts of we are electrical beings. So if we can get that piezoelectric thing with the sun happening, it's going to clear out and reset our magnetic structure. One moment where I'm going to get something
okay, you get it, and I'm going to keep talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say, though.
I just wanted to say that, right now in this time with all the space programs and Elon Musk and where we're so in our head and our mind, we're like shooting off into space every day. We want to, in our inner work, we want to come into our inner core and root down our spiritual root into the central core of our Mother Earth. I see like a big drum in the center of the earth, as Saralise got her drum. And I see all the colors of the people drumming and the center of the earth and the sacred waters. So beautiful. She painted that. It's so amazing. The sacred waters under that drum beat. and the thread of who we are that spreads through the whole planet, always one with us. Into the earth, in our inner intimacy, into the earth and through the earth and back through connection. So I just want to say thank you so much. And maybe what we'll do is you'll do your amazing, that drum is blowing my mind, that, and then I'll read, and then you can want to do that again, and any closing words after that for yourself. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Condorita. Blessed is the holy Condorita. The condor and the eagle are coming together now. The merging of the two creates the thunderbird. With white buffalo medicine. Can you hear that okay?
it's heard slight, but yes.
I'd like to read your. Would you like to read?
Yes, I am so mesmerized by that drum. Saralise is an amazing artist. Blows me away. Okay, so I wrote this last night.
Thank you, Laurel. So are you.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank
Oh,
you.
and I'll show Sekhmet at the end too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. Perfect. So this I wrote last night, and it's a more poetic expression of what I had to say. Okay. And here we go. It's just two different parts. What is a moon lodge? So Saralise is in her moon lodge. It's for our moon lodge fam. Unstructured time to rest into the body's emotional intelligence while dream weaving life's renewing power. Time to plug into the cosmic spin of oracle wisdom born deep within. Deep within, the internal listening activates life's connective tapestry. The elemental mind of our Mother Earth's design receives our prayers through our womb and hers as humanity's request for creation to birth. Dream weavers, ladies of love, wisdom and beauty from the internal technology of the blood, gateway passages, initiations of the earth, from the birth through the death gate, our soul embodiment comes first. Soul, one with the Godhead and the human heart, the body of all humanity, earth and cosmos for a start. Cosmic intelligence embedded in the land lives through us in our dreams, visions, and plans. Dream weavers praying through the womb of creation's natural design. Harmonize coherency for the ancestors and future generations' happy lives. And then we have part 2, and this is, how can the community support a woman in her moon lodge?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Ready? Does everyone want to know? Be in ceremony with her as the guardian of protection that secures a good ceremony. Mother Earth is a great womb and receives our creation of thoughts and feelings, activating the elemental chiefs to move consciousness into formation. The womb of creation of the earth and of our women's bodies amplify and grow consciousness forth in subtle and profound ways. Approach the living temple of the body of woman, she who carries the womb of creation, that is one with the womb of creation at the center of the universe, which all life comes from, in reverence and mindfulness. During her moon lodge, approach her in purity, knowing she is alchemizing through her biology and consciousness the subtle threads of the family and community within her. Women's work is invisible work. Divine woman is the great equalizer of life itself. When a woman is aligned, rooted, and healthy, she will birth life through her in health, seeding the future generations in harmony with natural law, restoring union within our planetary cosmic body as life always intended. How we approach and support the Moon Lodge every month as ceremony is an important act in cultivating the sacred within. The Moon Lodge ritual and how the community supports is a practice that prepares us in how to hold the sacred at each of the 5 blood gates of the human life, as well as our own cultivation of mindfulness and presence in becoming a fully embodied human being. If there are children, have Mom's Moon Lodge be a special time each month, that the children go on special adventures with Dad, family, community to give Mom space to do her inner work. Give her lots of space to be in her own rhythm of reboot, reroot, and regeneration. The deeper she goes, the more profound the wisdom will rise in her for herself, her family, and her community that thrives. Prepare food for her. Support a clean, beautiful, quiet environment while she is in her lodge. Support her to journey into nature or to be outside in the rhythms of the natural ecosystem. It is her time to reroot her womb consciousness back into the natural order of our Mother Earth, to remember what is hers to remember for the goodness of all life. It is her time to speak to the ancestors and Earth herself, to heal, renew, and bring wisdom truths forward. She can only do this if she goes deep within, which is where you come in, to protect her space so she has what she needs, so we all win. Rebooting the root so the tree can grow tall and flower beautiful fruits forth in love with the all. One love eternal.
That was amazing.
Okay. We had a little Moon Lodge throwdown a little bit. Oh,
Yeah, we did.
can I share about your fabulous image?
Yeah.
Look at what Saralise did. Look at this
Look at how
gorgeous
shimmery she
glory.
is.
Oh my goddess, she's golden, bronze.
Yeah, dude.
Dude. Okay, so Saralise's art blows my mind. Keep holding it up. So when I saw this, which she's working on right now, and I sent this to my mom yesterday, and my mom says, "Did you do that? It looks like a self-portrait." And in 2017, I had a connection with my essential self, which is partnered with a masculine principle interdimensionally back over there in Ethiopia, honestly. And the feminine principle that really merged with me is a Illyrian cat woman who looks just like this, golden bronze, very much the same body type that I have. And the masculine counterpart, 2 days they were with me for 2 days. And the second day he looked at my life, Laurel Kitten's life, in a crystal sphere, like God looking at your life. And there was only one thing that I got in trouble for, if I can say it that way. And then I was like, well, I needed to understand it. And then the question in myself was I there too long? It had to do with the entity tied into the deep state frequencies. So this Sekhmet queen that Saralise has done is very personal and intimate, just like having a cat sitting for button willow. And I don't know how you do what you do, but you do watercolor, and I have never tried that, and you blow my mind. Do you see anything you want to say about Sekhmet here? Thanks for letting me speak on that. She's so gorgeous. How do you do that? I mean, come on.
I don't know. Just
Watercolor. I mean, I use colored.
Yeah, I mean, if you look, oops, sorry. If you look very closely at you can see there's like a lot of detail.
So beautiful. Yoni flower, queen, delicious,
Yeah, Cosmos
mama,
Nebula Queen.
cosmos, fabulous.
So she was staring at me, and of course I have a connection as well to a Lyran cat goddess.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
So this goes along with this one. Let me show you the other one.
Which, by the way, Saralise, your white buffalo calf energy you did there to me looks like a cat as well.
Oh, totally, right?
All the way.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's a white buffalo, but it's also a cat.
It's also our original ancestors. The original ancestors.
Check this out. So, how this all came about.
Oh, wait. I think I know which one that is.
Okay. Let me just, so these are all part of a series called the Mother Goddess Oracle deck. Series of Oracle card deck, right? So the transfer of power happened in August, right at the Alliance Gate last year. Oh, and this is what came through then.
Was I on the Big Eye when you did that?
No, this was last summer.
Okay, because that blue, look at that. You actually did more work on her since I saw her. Wow.
Oh yeah, so she has like.
I mean, come on. Does this blow our minds everywhere?
Right, so this was actually the Mayan collapse. This is actually an event that happened. So this is what's called the lightning ceremony, where the transfer of power, you have your rod, your staff, and the lightning comes into the staff, and then you it connects into your body, and you run the energy through your body, raw power. Okay?
Yeah. Kundalini, riding the inner dragon. Look out, family.
Exactly, but it's also lightning, like literal lightning coming into the rod. So, but before that, when you're 8 years old in the Mayan cultures, you would merge with the jaguar or with a big cat in the jungle. You would go into the jungle by yourself, and you would merge with the cat, your consciousness, okay? So, the morning that this happened, this cat walked around the corner and stared at her, okay? So that afternoon, that evening, I went to her house. I didn't know this. I went to her house, okay? And I was sitting on her bed, and we got this little Mayan statue, and the snake that had been living at my house was being gifted to her. Okay, the snake. So this was one of the temples of the jaguar. Okay, you guys have to understand, this is all an event that actually took place, and I was sitting on her bed and had a recall and a vision, like the wall went away, and I was there watching this whole thing go down, and this is what I saw.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was the Mayan collapse. This was an actual event that took place. And this staff, I couldn't get it into the painting because it was in my hip.
Interesting.
Okay, so I had to pull it out of my hip and put it into the painting. And I went through this whole thing where I had to cover this with silk and sacred geometry, because I got so much so that I was out of my body, and I was in a Lyran temple, and I had the light codes, and I had to get them out of the Lyran temple off the scrolls and bring them back to Earth and stick them in the painting. So they're in the painting now.
You go, girl. Is it possible, as you shared that? I mean, I'm ready for us to wrap up, but
yeah.
Is there a way if I hit share screen, I've got my skeleton woman, priestess across lifetimes.
Right. Oh God.
It's right here.
I had a vision of the white buffalo. When I have my white buffalo vest on, and you're going to have your whole thing on, and the two of us are going to, I had a full vision, but yes, go ahead. Show me.
So
but just to finish this, the raw transfer of power started then. Okay. Right after I activated the dragon heart up in the Olympic Peninsula, and it went all the way across in a week. It went all the way across the planet, and 6 million hectares in Siberia caught on fire. You could see it from space. And I worked on the dragon grid all the way across the planet, right? And then this happened. And then this just came in the last few days.
I love her so much.
So she's this is more me or you or whoever.
It's you, honey, but it's also me too, because we're part of the same
it's
plane.
us.
It's us.
So we're all part of the Lyran, you know, cat goddess, whatever culture.
Original ancestor yum yums.
And then I did this one as well.
Don't y'all love it? It's so fabulous.
And see, this is an experience I had. Excuse me.
Honey, you're so wonderful.
So these are all experiences, you guys. Like,
that's how I do my art too. And I'm not going to, if I'm able to pull this up, I'm not going to go through the 3 different angles of consciousness. I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm just going to show it to you because
share screen.
So hit share screen. Here we go. There it is. Share.
Oh wait, you got it. Okay, hold on.
Oh, I don't know where you just went to.
There we go.
Am I sharing my? Am I sharing my whole screen right now? That's ridiculous.
Yes. No, it's perfect.
How messy my thing is. Okay.
No, I can only see the actual preview.
Oh, great.
Of the JPEG.
Okay, got it. Great. Okay, so I mean, I could say a little bit. So I did not do any art in 2019 because I was too busy dealing with the living for real chess game with the literal new smart cities versus the reclaiming of the blood of humanity and humans awakening.
Right.
Right. So I'm not going into any details, but I did tell us earlier. Remember the ceremony I had going to get the sun flame, and I was the skeleton woman with the rose on her forehead. That was a complete spiritual experience. Here she is, okay? And in 2010, when we put up our Corn Woman Moon Lodge, because we had our teepees go out to be as moon lodges in the communities. Once we put that lodge up, before the women went in, I went in and did some gridding, and this emerald skull appeared in the middle. I don't know which direction it came from. And this library of information returned in 2013. And so, and this is also tied to the woman with the red dress, which is a past life I remember, where the priestess, you know, if she broke the order or law, they couldn't spill her blood, but they would put her underground with one meal, and after 2 weeks, if she didn't die, they'd give her another meal until she died. And somehow I have a connection to that. So it's the high priestess across lifetimes. We have here our rainbow sun flame, our illumination torch, and our beautiful staff. So anyway. Wow. And we had the Rose Temple this last year, so you see all the roses. And actually, you see her little breasts in the flame in her chest.
The owl.
And the womb down there, it's actually an owl. And the owl's supposedly the gatekeeper of the white corn people, who sees in the light and the dark, and has clearly spiritually been seen for me with the great mother goddess. So any of the Illuminati shadow government that steals our images and then creates polarization towards those symbols that are actually belong to us and our places of power, we need to take ourselves home and back. I'm going to stop the share. Now you've seen some of Saralise and one image of mine. And here, you know what? Hold on. You know what?
Do it again. Give me
one
another
more
one.
Share. Let me show you my mom. So let's give one with my mom.
Oh yeah.
Because it's
so her mother's also a visionary artist. Hi.
Desktop. Why is it not opening? Oh, here we go. Okay, this is birthing the new earth, and just because it happens to be here, my mom didn't really like it so much. Now, tell me,
I love
is there not to like about that? The earth is popping out her yoni, and on above the little earth. Come on, family, blue butterflies.
I don't know how she does all the white dots like that up in the galaxy. How does she do that, dude?
Well, I think she's working with acrylics, and it's just.
Oh, but like those little tiny dots.
I know, she's a master at space. I don't know how she does it.
Dude.
Right?
Like every time.
My mom, she blows me away. This was in 2000. Okay, check it.
2007.
Yeah, and that's when the Eagle Condor gathering happened, and the spirit of the golden eagle came to open the gateway for the living blood prayer that became Red Lightning, literally.
Oh, wow.
So look, she birthed the new earth, my mommy oracle, when the gates opened, and here we are now. Okay, so I hope you all enjoy all my little art.
Enjoying that. Okay. All right, well, we're going on 3 hours, people, so let's do this. Just giving thanks for this beautiful prayer living in motion right now, right here on Gaia, Earth, Terra, Tiamat, Hermitana, all the names of Gaia. So deeply grateful for your presence in our lives, all the wisdom you give us every single day, and sharing your wisdom with us. We're so deeply grateful for that. Thank you so much. I'm so deeply grateful to have Laurel Kitten with me in this prayer, in this living prayer. For the love that she shares and her wisdom that she gives so freely. The passion that she carries in her blood. And for the blood wisdom, blood mysteries that are carried in her blood that will come forth to support all life on this planet, and has historically been present with her. She has carried this in her body. And as we move into this next phase of embodiment here on Gaia, we ask for your grace, dear Goddess, Cosmic Mother. The womb of creation is yours, and we are honored to sit within it. We are but your children here, embodied, and we carry this wisdom in honor and grace. Shamo ye chia katai pe, poma hai kachomo yene e mai katai te. Shamakiata shakato po ite he he manaya kaite. Popo ite e mayana e poika. Shoma haike. Shakomakiata te kayete. Shomo yuno en yena e kaite. Shinamanako. Shinamanaka. So it is.
So much love and so much gratitude. And Saralise, we can find you besides on Facebook and
Oh yes, there's lots of ways to find me at this point. I am on, it depends on how you want to connect with me. Saralise Shekinah Sophia on Facebook. I'm not on there very much, but I do Facebook Lives there. I'm Rev Dr. Saralise on Instagram, RevDrSaralise, and also Conscious Truths on Instagram as well. And I am also Saralise Sophia on Twitter. And I have jewelsofthejedi.com. So that is my online mentorship program that is currently in the 13 moon cycle. And that is very specific. And there's a pilgrimage that will go along with that once we are free to roam here. Walk the World tour will be happening as well. So those are all the things I have going on right now, but there's things coming in the future, which I feel to announce, but then I don't want to announce them because I'm like, But anyway, there's a university in development, and there's some other things as well, some new alternative medical systems being developed. There's lots of things in development right now that will come into play very soon. And I am Laurel. We can find you at...
Well, I'm Laurel Kitten on Facebook. I have a website that that is right now available to be seen. I'm still doing tweaks in my shop because I've been putting my art and my mommy's art in my little RedBubble shop, which is very exciting and takes quite a bit of time. So I have a little more tweaking in that, but my website is beautywaythunder.com. beautywaythunder.com, beautywaythunder.com. I have 3 introductory courses there, one on ceremonial menstruation, one on being born, giving birth, and one on path of the priestess. And let's see, what's that? It's not Twitter. What's that other thing? Instagram. Honestly, I have an Instagram account, but I have not actually learned to use it yet or be on it, because I've been in a deep underworld journey in this last
deep prayer.
Yeah, plus I'm in like maybe the 13th year of a 14-year Pluto cycle, which most people don't literally have in an entire lifetime. I have like a master, literally. I actually in 2017 talked to an astrologer in the fall, and I had a big accident in the spring of that year.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't come back in my body, which I know. And he said, "Wow, we're talking. That's amazing." Because I had wearing my North.
He's like, "Oh my God."
I just kind of broke my chin and lost some teeth, but outside of that, I did come back in. I did, and I'm still here, and I could have not been here, literally. And so I'm still. I'm
so grateful you're here.
Thank you. Thank you, Saralise. Thank you. It's been really intense. I've been getting some structural integration recently, so I'm now starting. I have a little bit more to do, but I'm starting to have a body that's feeling better, because I've been in for years, and so I have been underground, and the computer seems to have been the last thing I've been interested in. And so I'm just now coming back online, and just now stepping back out, and here Saralise and I are. So anyway, thank you. I've been away for a while, and I'm coming to us all again.
I had a similar experience in 2014 where I left and had an exit point as well. And it took a lot for me to get back.
Hard.
And I went through, it was really, really hard. You remember that.
My memory was impacted for 2 years, and there was no collective.
2 years for me also,
We need to re-template our support.
Absolutely.
And when big things happen, our community's forgotten how to, so we have a lot of, they have forgotten.
Yeah.
It's not all just about, oh, I love you from Facebook. It's like real.
Yeah, no, real support, support.
It didn't happen, but I'm here to hold the space to build the bridges that it will happen.
Yes. Right. And I was fortunate enough that I did have one person that helped me save my life. And I'm super grateful to her. And she's like a sister to me. And if it wouldn't have been for her, I would not be here. I mean, I literally was triaged for 10 days. I had to fly from Maui to Michigan. It was a whole fiasco to get me off the island and get me over to Michigan, and like triaged. It was a miracle that I survived. I'm really, really lucky, but it was a direct hit on my life. Like 4 of my organs failed, and they tried to take me out, you guys. So
mine was a spiritual hit also, which was really karmic clearing.
Mine was a hit by the deep state specifically, though, which also, it's happened many times. It's so so I mean, we've just to understand that Laurel and I have both been through severe levels of attack and targeting, and we've survived.
Just like Lilith, just like our
just like all the mother goddesses, right?
Of the queens seem to have a similar, oh, you all are just crazy.
Right. I'm like, yeah, no, but I know a bunch of other women that went through the same thing. So yeah, no, we're not crazy.
Excuse me. Priestesses used to be above the law, taking care of for life, bringing harmony to the whole planet, and freaking carrying the eternal flame. And we're like, hello. Yes. But actually, okay, sorry.
But we are being taken care of.
We are.
So we wouldn't be here. But a lot of priestesses haven't made it to. I just want to speak to that for a second, because it's actually really important. Yes, we've lost a lot of sisters in the last, we've lost a lot of people, you guys, and very deep, close, personal sisters of ours we've lost. We have a mutual sister that we've lost, and this is no joke. This is really hard for people to understand, like the level that we're playing at. And there are other people playing at this level too, and they don't realize that they're playing at this level. And so that is so important for us to bring this forward in a way that people can recognize who they are. Yes. On a spiritual level, on a core essence of their being, and to take full responsibility for that life stream, for their own personal life stream, for the cosmic center of their universe right here. That is I want to leave you with that, because I feel these like reflection. What do I want to say about this? I just want to leave you with this, that I pray for your liberation. I know that you are liberated. I trust that. I know that to be true in my heart's intelligence. I understand the process of suffering. I am there with you every single day on this planet. I get you on so many levels. And I know that you get me. I know that you get Laurel. And I just want to speak from my heart here and say that if you're still listening to this podcast or whatever this is that we're doing right here, right now, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for like riding the wave with us. And there will be more information coming forward from us. It feels really important for us to use our voices right now. And I invite you to use your voice, to speak your truth, to come out and blossom, because now is the time. I have never in my life said that so many times than I have in the past couple of months. Now is the time for us to rise up, to stand in our truth, and to know deep inside of our core who we are as spiritual beings living in a human experience. But we are integrated here and now on earth. And that we embodied, full embodiment is what is the key to all of this. Staying right here, not trying to escape and go in 10 million different directions. No, right here, and doing the work that it takes to be here. For real, real. That is key right now. And I just am so grateful that you spent this time with us, actually. Just so grateful, like that you're still here. If you're listening, thank you. Yeah. I don't know how many people are here, but thank you for being here. I love you. Laurel, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for being with us.
To all of you.
To all of you.
And all you beautiful humans, give love to your animals. Say hi to little ants as you see them outside. Let's stop the war on our creatures. Let's not poison them. Let's like live with our insects and our animals and our earth in a really good way. So I just love them so much. Love your animals.
Love your animals.
Love your people.
All the beings.
Love everybody.
All the beings. May all beings be free from suffering.
Yes.
Loka samasta sukino babantu.
Sacred blessings, sacred beauty, one love eternal. Thank you, Saralise. Thank you, family. Until our next moment.
Yeah, thank you.
True pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.